Good morning, everybody. It's Arduce with Cajun Couple Trucking. It is February 11th, and I turned my hot shop truck in. I am making the transition to Class A, so I leave tonight for the classes. I'm actually got to spend the night with my wife, which is really nice, and I enjoyed it. Hey,
Yay!
and she doesn't drive. She likes to describe herself as Dora the Explorer. She holds the map. Anyway, so I'm not going to be able to do the hot shot all inclusive pre trip. I'm sorry, guys. It's just not going to happen. Maybe if I run into one of these guys on the road, they'll let me record and do a pre trip. But what we want to talk about today was trucker etiquette. It's You want to know why the older truck drivers, the guys who drove from 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, are always mad. This is why. These are things that were industry standards. Trucker etiquette was great back then. I used to drive in the 90s for CR England, and it was great. I mean, everybody helped everybody out. Nobody thought of anybody else's competition. It was great. So we're going to go through a few things, trucker etiquette. Now, excuse me, I still haven't learned how to edit and all yet, and not putting up the little number one, number two, number three. I'll start doing that later when I have more time. But I want to spend a little bit more time with my wife. We're going to see our grandkids, take them out to breakfast, a couple of them, then go spend the rest of the day with four other grandkids. We have 9 altogether. So, number one on trucker etiquette, pull up lane parking. When you fuel, there's a lane. Now, I've been maybe to 2 truck stops across the nation that don't have enough room for a pull up lane. So, when you're done fueling, pull up. There's a line. Park. If there's not a line, there's enough space. Pull your truck up till you're about 6 feet in front of the pumps, not the back of your trailer, even with the pumps, because the guy behind you can't fuel, especially if he has to get his tanks are behind his cab. Okay. Number 2, fuel lane blocking. Pull up, park, go in, grab a drink, use the bathroom. If you got to do number 1, if you got to take a dump, go park in the parking lot, because that's going to take more than 5 minutes. Anything that's going to take more than 5 or 10 minutes, go park and then come back in. Me and my wife were stuck behind a guy. We were blocked. Trucks were trying to get in to fuel. 2 hours we were sitting there. Guys pulled up in the pull-up lane, still there. They paged him many times. They finally had to page and say, hey, we've already called a tow truck. If it gets here before you move your truck, it's being towed. The guy had taken a shower, sat down and ate, and was in the driver lounge watching TV, and it heard the announcements. Okay. Number 3, when you're driving down the interstate and the truck passes you, when it's safe, when he's far enough ahead of you, flashing to come over. Now, the best thing to do is not use your brights and blind him in his mirrors, because he's turned on his blinker, he's looking in his mirror, see him when he can come over. If you turn your headlights off and back on, off and on, 2 or 3 times, he knows it's safe to come over. And in that, if you're the truck that's passing and someone hits you, use your marker lights. If you don't have marker lights on your trailer, you're a hot shot or something, hit your 4-way flashers and let them blink about 3 or 4 times and then turn them off. That's telling them, thank you. Thank you for letting me know it's safe to come over. And what I do is, even if the truck doesn't signal me to come over, I still thank him. Who knows? Maybe next time he'll signal the next truck to come over. Maybe he'll feel small enough that he'll do it. All right. Backing help. If you see someone having trouble backing, go help them, please. Even if it's not your truck that might get damaged because he can't back. Maybe it's a new student. Maybe it's somebody. These trucking companies are cracking people out. They are getting their own instructor certified to give the test, which means that you don't have to be perfect. It isn't a state representative giving the test. It's somebody else. And we all know that some of these trucking spots are so narrow. So if they're backing, whether it's a dock or what, don't laugh at them. Get out and try to help them. This is a community. CB etiquette, man. I've heard nothing but horrible stories about CB. We really do need, and we still utilize CBs. It's great to know when that interstate shut down, when that pass is closed, when there's a major accident that you might be able to avoid just because you had the CB on and you heard it. Okay? Let's not cuss, not rant and rave, not call people steering wheel holders or anything. They went through the same school you did. And yeah, they may not be as experienced, they may not be as skilled as you, but we're all professionals out here. Let's act like it. All right. And there's kids at home, mom and dad's a trucker, or there's a CB community, and you're screaming and cussing and yelling. And, these kids got on Channel 19 listening to this. Okay. Drive respectfully. It doesn't matter what that person did to you. A person cut you off. A person slowed you down. Let's just drive respectfully. As I said before, we are professionals out here. All these little four-wheelers and stuff they don't make a living by driving like we do. They make a living driving to get to their jobs and then going back home. Let's drive respectful. Set an example. Be the pillar. Be the example you want to be. Give merging traffic space. This is number 7 on my list. If there is room for you to move over to the left, for traffic to merge in, please do so. If not, if there isn't, follow the federal guidelines, the DOT guidelines. Maintain your speed and keep moving forward. All right. Let's watch out for those four-wheelers, though, because there's a lot of people, and I've talked to several, that think that I'm merging on, you have to yield to me. No, the merging traffic yields. We all know that. But let's keep in mind that people aren't being taught right. Okay. Don't drive in the left lane. That left lane is for passing. You're spending 20, 30 miles in that left lane just because it's smoother isn't helping anybody out. All right. And on that, if someone passes you on the right, you're in the wrong lane, dude. Especially if a truck passes you on the right. Four-wheeler might get excited, anxious, zoom over to the right and pass you. But if a truck passes you on that right side, you're in the wrong lane. And I've passed many of trucks on the right. Okay. Don't box a fellow trucker in, whether that's on the interstate, in truck stops, stuff like that. I mean, me and my wife had several times in the last 8-9 months had to go knock on a truck, say, hey, I can't get out and I got to get going, and they're looking down. There's maybe when you park, there wasn't spaces, but there's spaces, but there's no reason to block someone in. I got a truck behind me. I got a truck on either side. I got to pull out till my trailer tires are even with the front bumper of the trucks. So my tail swing doesn't hit their bumper. And you've only given me enough room to pull my truck out, pull my cab out. Don't do that, guys. And then don't get angry when someone knocks on your cab and says, hey, you got to move. I got to get going. It all goes back to respect and being professional. Okay, clean up after yourself. Oh my goodness, these truck stops need to start kicking you out and banning you for leaving trash, pee bottles. I've seen people just take a garbage bag, roll down their window, stick the garbage bag out, dump it over, let all the contents fall in the parking lot, put their garbage bag back in their can on their lap, put it down, and drive off. There's no excuse for that, guys. None whatsoever. They put plenty of garbage cans out all over. And if you don't want to empty the garbage can while you're sitting there or throw your bags away while you're sitting there overnight, then when you fuel, there's garbage cans right there. All right. Turn off your lights in the parking lot at night. Okay? I understand that you have day glow lights, most of these trucks, for safety. But the thing is when you turn those marker lights off, those lights go off too. There's nothing worse than trying to back between two trucks at 1 or 2 in the morning, and one or both have their headlights still on. And when you look in that mirror, it blinds you. You cannot see where your trailer is, and that's their truck you're about to hit, and they've got their lights on. Or you're trying to sleep, and I mean, let's face it, some people don't keep up their trucks, and their curtain don't close all the way, or their curtain's ripped, and they can't get it closed, and they're trying to sleep, and you got your headlights shining through their windshield. It was a bigger issue in the 90s and before, but as far as it would bother more people. And when you're driving through the light at night, turn on your marker lights, but don't turn on your headlights. These guys are sleeping, guys. You never know what's going on in that truck. You don't know if your light's going to bother them or not. It's just courtesy. It's etiquette to turn those lights off. All right. When you're going below 40 miles an hour on the interstate, you need to turn on your flashers. That alerts everybody behind you that you are moving slow. It's not just climbing up mountains. It's not just coming down mountains. Anytime you have to slow down. Snow, ice, rain, turn those flashers on. Okay, which brings me to another point. This is a safety thing, not just an etiquette thing. Anytime your wipers are on, your headlights should be on. And that's in all 48 states and in Canada. It is a law. Okay, move over when you can for vehicles on the side of the road. We understand that you can't always move over. We understand that you get boxed in, but I have had to stop for a flat on my trailer. I'm trying to change a flat on my trailer. I'm trying to get pictures. I'm trying to, make sure everything's good. And the left lane is wide open. Nobody in the left lane. I'm looking down the road. There's nobody in the left lane. And I have 4 trucks past me in the right lane. That's ridiculous. If I had that flat on the driver's side, I would have been in real danger. Move over, people. Okay? Not just for flashing lights, just move over. And the last thing I want to touch on is turtle racing. We've all done it. It's all been, you get one truck that's governed at 65, you get one truck that's governed at 66, and he's coming up. And it takes 1.5 miles, 2 miles to pass him. Okay? All right. I understand neither one of you want to lose time. But how much time are you going to lose if you're that truck on the right? You know he's going to pass you. How much time are you going to lose to tap your brakes for 3 seconds? Let him come by and pass. Okay? Now, on the other side, if you're governed at 65, if you really want to save fuel, you'll be driving at 60. And when you get to that truck that's governed at 60 and doing 59, you have enough power to speed up that 5 miles an hour, switch over, come around in quickly. Turtle racing is not good. It aggravates everybody, and everybody's affected by it. So let's try not to do it. Now, on that, there's another thing I wanted to touch on and I know it's very aggravating, and 4-wheelers do it a lot. These 2-lane highways, like US 461, US 30, US 105, TX 105. They have passing lanes every so many miles, and you'll get not only 4-wheelers but trucks that'll do, like I was on one 2 days ago. Speed limit was 75 miles an hour. I'm behind this truck who's doing 55 miles an hour. Can't pass him. Not enough room. And when we hit the passing lane, he goes over to the right and he floors it. And I'm trying to come around him, and he's matching me speed. And I can see him in his mirror laughing. And then when I'm not past him, when we get to the end of the passing lane, so I got to back off and let him come back over or get in an accident. 4-wheelers do it. Other truck drivers do it. They think it's fun and games. I followed this truck for 75, 85 miles, and he kept doing that every passing lane. Every 3 to 5 miles, he'd do it. I finally gave up. I pulled into a truck stop. I was like, nope, I need to calm down. I need to relax. And that's probably the proper thing to do. stop for about 30 minutes or so. Take your 30-minute break if it's time for that, and just calm down. He's going to be many miles down the road, and hopefully it turned off by the time you get back on the road. So, guys, that's all I have on trucker etiquette. If you have something else, put it in the comments below. I try to keep track of the comments. My wife watches it from home while I'm at school. Go and get my Class A back. Should have never let it go. But that's another video, I guess. But as always, keep the shiny side up, rubber side down, and your mirrors between the ditches. Have a great day.